These Beborp aliens now are something else.
Impression of human beings. Okay, here we go. Oh, my tummy hurts so bad because I ate gluten. Oh.
That's good. Okay.
That's seed oils because it's all poisoned. Anyway.
I got it. Do me. Ready? Oh, I'm mad because of politics. Oh, everybody that disagrees with me is bad. Rah, 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 rah. You know?
Hey, I take that last one personally, as of course, the topics of aliens and UFOs, as well as American space tech, is something that I always find very fascinating and interesting to talk about, specifically when it comes to interdimensional beings. Something that Tucker Carlson has been talking about recently. I had very interesting conversations with him about this particular topic, as it looks like he's on a tear recently, talking about ancient civilizations, the story of the pyramids, and the moon landing being fake. I thought this episode was particularly very important, as the Daily Mail even wrote an article about it. We're going to be going over it. We're going to be talking about it, as of course I have major disagreements with some of my friends in the movement, including of course Tim Pool, that believes the moon landing was real. I do not. I'll tell you why. We're going to listen to what Tucker Carlson and A.G. Gentile had to say specifically about this very interesting particular topic, as people are saying, bombshell on the moon landing. And I think this stuff is absolutely important to talk about with the context of what many people believe to be the next alien invasion coming our way, allegedly. Again, these aliens, man, they're talking tough. Before playing the rest of that clip and a lot more, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us.
Okay. Oh, I'm so tired from everything that I keep doing every single day, and I don't change anything in my life.
Yeah, that's good. They like that. They do.
Consistency's good. It's not that bad. I mean, it's good to be consistent, right? You know, I have the same routine every day.
Yeah, okay, ready? Oh no, egg prices are so high. I created money and I don't have enough. Right, they do that.
That's you guys.
You do that.
That's what you sound
That's
like.
what you do.
Shouts out to, who is this person? At Girk Lind Carl. Shouts out to them. Hilarious skits and videos out there. They definitely hit the nail on the head here. As of course, if the aliens do come down, right? Let's just hypothetically, or if the interdimensional beings show themselves up from underneath our flat Earth, if they ever show up and they look at us and they're like, wait, you guys are paying taxes to who? Wait, your money is created by whom? The Rothschild? They print money and then they take your... Ha! As I would be confused if I was an alien. And listen, I think humanity is at a place right now where we're not ready for an alien invasion. There's a lot of things that we are not doing right, and they would definitely probably see us, especially if they're more of an advanced society, probably less than us here. Now, this talk about the moon landing stuff is very interesting. As the Daily Mail writes, the sudden delay of NASA's first moon mission in 5 decades has set off a wave of conspiracy theorists, including one about astronauts discovering life on the lunar surface in 1969. A.J. Gentile, host of the podcast The Why Files, said that a long-lost radio transmission from the Apollo 11 landing allegedly mentioned the discovery of aliens watching the crew arrive. Now, there's a lot of people talking about the other side of the moon, which hasn't really been discovered. A lot of people are talking about potentially advanced military installations and bases already being there. So you have two type of main prevailing theories. One, we're not advanced at all to be there. We've never been there. Two, we go there a lot. We already have a huge base there. And there's a whole runaway civilization that is there. That's another theory. The article continues. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin reportedly switched to a private medical channel during a radio blackout while approaching the moon. Now, it's also important to note that a lot of astronauts were previously hounded by this guy before YouTube even came out, and he came up to him and he was like, put your hand on the Bible, tell us you went to the moon. And then the astronauts ended up just clocking this guy. There's crazy wild videos of that happening here. But let's just get to this clip.
What I find fascinating,
because I think it's important to play here in full context in order to really kind of understand the argument fully.
is they could see not just through space, but through time. So there was one time where Joe McMoneagle was given He was given coordinates, and he remote viewed it, and he said, I think I'm on Mars. I said, okay, what do you see? He says, I see these tall, slender beings walking around. Something's going on. There's a problem. There's species is dying. And he said, I feel like it's a long time ago. And he comes out of his trance or whatever. So the coordinates were Mars, and it said Mars 1 million BC. So he saw beings on Mars. At the time, the Mars was supposed to be this barren planet, but Mars was very Earth-like.
Yes.
Oceans, but at the time, no one said that. But Joe saw it. Just like Ingo on the moon saw alien bases on the moon, saw psychic beings on the moon. He said they're aware of us. And I think those are the things that make the government nervous.
Did the crew of any of the Apollo missions, when they landed on the moon, did they see anything?
That's the interesting part here, because I definitely do feel like we're not getting the truth here. But then there's also a lot of cockamamie, woo-woo, wild, just insane, crazy people out there that literally just make stuff up, and they get a lot of attention to it because people are automatically, wait, what did they say? Anyway, before talking about that and playing the rest of this clip and going into Tucker's theory here that I talked to him about, especially about the interdimensional creatures and beings that allegedly are within us, Catherine Alston Fitz also confirmed that with me. I wanted, and I had very interesting conversations with David Icke and Alex Jones about this many, many years ago. Before I do that, check out LukeUnfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up yet. What are you doing? We just had a monster giveaway. We gave out, I believe it was like $200 worth of items. I think maybe it was like $300. We did a contest giveaway. You could sign up for $8 a month and you could win things. The guy who won, shouts out to him, by the way. What was his name? Rob P. Yeah, Rob P. Shouts out Rob P. For winning. He was so he was like, give it to a new person. I've been a member for a while. Give it to a new person. He was like, any new person want it? Anyone? I was like, bro, you got it. So thanks for him for becoming a member. Awesome to have member participation. I was just in the members area today. When I go live on other people's channels, I usually send it in there just to have very cool, interesting conversation with you guys. I definitely want to utilize the chat more. And to get the chat, you just got to become a member of LukeUnfiltered.com, where you also get 3 master classes, 13 plus years of exclusive videos, and a lot of really cool items. We're going to put the whole entire t-shirt store on just for members, and then everything else is only going to be available for a limited time, only 1 shirt per week, and that's it. Anyway, LukeUnfiltered.com is the website. Click the link down in the description below. We need your support. You guys could sign up for whatever you could afford. If you're going through difficult times, I don't expect you to sign up. But if you got a bunch of money, hey, if you appreciate our 21 now years of work, subscribe. It means a lot to us that you do. I think I've been involved in this since 2004, like doing activism and reporting way back when. With flip phones. That's how old I am. 22 years doing this stuff. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and I'm internally grateful, and I can't thank you guys enough here. Now let's get back to this clip here.
Officially, no. The story goes that there's a radio blackout when Neil and Buzz are up there, when they first get there, and there is a radio blackout. And the story is, well, how the orbit works, sometimes the radio signal drops, whatever. The story is they switch over to the medical channel and said, they're here, they're on the crater, and they can see us. That's what the story is.
Who's they? Who they? I remember that one.
And Ingo Swann said he saw things on the moon. He saw structures, he saw beings that are there. If you go through secondary sources, every astronaut has seen strange things in space. Edgar Mitchell is on record as saying UFOs are real, they're extraterrestrial, Roswell is real, that happened, we have craft.
Now, there's also a lot of members of the American military, many prominent military figures, representatives, politicians coming out and saying, yeah, they're absolutely real. We have Congressman Tim Burchett describing these football-sized field craft that go in and out of water without being stopped through the laws of physics. He talks about how they are able to travel at enormously fast speeds underneath water, above water, and they just kind of like move around everywhere. We also had this huge drone incursion that first happened in Japan, happened in the United Kingdom, then over the coast of the United States near New Jersey. Last year, the government lied about that, and now they're off of the coast of Denmark. And everyone's like, Russia! Epstein list, Russia! Drones, Russia! And there was these Shadow Fleet freight that the Russians were using to transport their energy illegally. And the French sent in their special forces, hijacked it, and they're like, this is where the drones are. We're telling you. Zelensky was like, the Russian drones! And then they're like, oh yeah, there's nothing here. Oh yeah. What is it then? Is it advanced US tech, or is it advanced out of this world tech? That's the question that I think a lot of people are asking themselves.
The government is lying. This is the sixth man to walk on the moon. This is not a kook. This is an American hero. So something's clearly going on up there. But anyway, that's the
What do we
nutshell.
know about the moon exactly?
Not very much. Not very much at all.
We lost the tapes, and we lost the technology of being able to go to the moon. Now, granted, and this is Tim Pool's argument, he makes the argument that the government is incompetent, it's inefficient, it lost the files, and that's it. I think that's being too generous towards a government that, in many instances, is very incompetent, but predominantly more sociopathic, right? I would argue there's a lot more sociopaths, there's a lot more dangerous people within our government that are a threat against us and humanity that are far more sinister. As of course, if you look at the stakes of what was happening then, us going to the moon was a major PR marketing victory during the Cold War that essentially highlighted to the world, we're number one. People were still questioning, are the Soviets number one? Are the Americans number one? As soon as the conflict ended, a lot of people argue America bombed the crap out of Japan and nuked them, not as a way to make Japan surrender, because Japan already was willing to surrender. They were just kind of negotiating the terms of it. Japan already knew that they lost. They just wanted to keep their emperor afterwards, and the United States was like, no, you got to get rid of your emperor. And they're like, we don't want to. Can we negotiate something else where we keep our leadership? And the United States was like, no, you can't. Here's one nuke. A lot of people argue the nuke was meant to send a message to the Soviet Union at the time that already went into Europe and gathered a whole bunch of German scientists. The Americans, through Operation Paperclip, also gathered as many scientists as they could. And that's when they started working on saucer-like technology and craft. And they have weird photos of Germans in the 1930s working on saucer-like crafts.
Let me ask you, do you think we went to the moon? Do you think we landed on the moon?
I have a lot of thoughts on it that I never get into. I mean,
You squirmed the way I do and asked.
No, I don't think they did.
I went down this once because it's my job, right? And I found it really distressing, so I just kind of gave up. But I did, you never know who's telling you the truth about anything, right? But I talk to people, I sort of do trust. Like, no, it's not. But then I thought, whatever. I don't. There are a lot. I spend my life looking into things and trying to figure out what's real and what's not. And I do think in midlife you realize, having done this for so many years, that like some things you're not going to know.
Right.
And I think you can go crazy because I've pushed to the edge of it myself, trying to figure out what's right, what's true, what actually happened, what reality is. But
Exactly. Now, very interestingly, the saucer topic, as I'm trying to pull up articles here, in my opinion, highlights a new type of tech. Now, the Germans were into some esoteric form of understanding. They were always looking for the pure kind of Aryan race. They were searching for ancient artifacts in India and in Africa. There's a lot of lore, especially around the funny mustache guy being a part of the Tullus Society, being part of other secret societies, and using a lot of occult mysticism in order to carry out his leadership. Right? Now, people are showing these photos showing the Germans had been developing flying saucer-like craft since 1930s. Now, a lot of people report how a lot of these saucers are being seen since the 1930s, and especially around nuclear sites, right? Especially since the advent of the nuclear bomb. A lot of people even have the theory that the nuclear energy came from aliens. That it was technology that was granted and gifted to us. I think that's fascinating to also kind of pontificate about, because a lot of people are like, yeah, we don't know where this type of concept and idea really came from, allegedly.
But I think it's unattainable on certain stories. This may be one of them. I will say, we accidentally taped over the original footage because we ran out of Betamax.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we taped over it. We lost attack. I'm like, that sounds very convenient. Now, again, granted, government sucks and it's filled with idiots, but it's also filled with sociopathic evil people. It's a combination. People are like, what's government? Well, it's like the DMV, but then in the back, there's like sociopathic predators out there that are grabbing small children and doing horrible things with them, and then you're paying for it top dollar. That's government. And according to Tucker, they're working with some interdimensional beings. I'll talk about that in a little bit.
And the schematic drawings of the spacecraft are like missing and all this. It's like
Telemetry data is gone.
yeah, telemetry data is gone. It's
they
like
can't.
stop.
They can't replicate the technology.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So that would I'll say this, if it was faked,
Yep.
of course can't prove that. Then it's just one more instance of the US government having to backfill, a 57-year-old lie. And it's done that a lot. It certainly.
If there's one thing we're learning, especially now with all the Epstein stuff, is the government is really allergic towards any type of accountability and responsibility. And I'm arguing like, hey guys, listen, we gotta turn the leaf here. We gotta really change things, because if we don't change things, like, people are just going to lose faith in the system and in the institutions, then everything's going to fall and collapse from here. Because people are all questioning themselves, why in the world are we paying taxes when there's predators out there and the government is protecting, aiding, and abetting them and covering up what they're doing?
Did it with the murder of John F. Kennedy. And it's just, you tell a lie and it just kind of doesn't go away, because you have to continually make up new lies in order to cover, the lie, the original lie. So you'd hate to think that's real.
That's the struggle with the moon landing question, I think, because
Right.
it wasn't a gotcha question, because when I'm asked that all the time and I do the same thing, I kind of go, A, I wish you didn't ask me that. B, I'm not sure. I think we did. I think something was found up there, which is why we didn't go back. And for me, it all hinges on Edgar Mitchell, because I trust and believe him. And if he says he walked on the moon, then I believe him. But I think something was found up there that maybe the government didn't want us to find.
There's clearly lying.
Now, there's also the people like David Icke, Catherine Austin Fitts, that came out and said, yeah, the moon is a base. There's other stuff on there. It's not just a moon. It's a military installation. Some people say for a runaway civilization. Now, very interesting when it comes to the moon landing topic. We have Joe Rogan, that previously was a big moon landing skeptic, that recently came out and said, like, yeah, the moon landing happened, like the government says it does. I'm like, what?
Easier
Here's an older video of his.
to go to the moon than it would be to fake it. No, it wouldn't.
Right.
Not if you physically can't get a human being through the Van Allen radiation belts. That's the first problem nobody wants to talk about. They lied about so many things back then that trusting this one historic achievement blindly feels almost childish.
There was literally CIA guys going around dosing people with acid, and then like, what happened? And like, people would just jump off windows and like take themselves out because they were like, what's going on? I'm just freaking out here. I'm seeing things. I'm having hallucinations. Why am I having hallucinations? And it was like literally CIA guys like, let's dose them secretly. What the hell? The hell? There's government officials literally like, all right, let's send off radioactive particles here on this population in St. Louis. Let's do that. And that's the stuff that we know about. Oh, this stinging experiment. Oh, let's give some syphilis to some folks over here. Agent Orange, you ever heard about that one? I'm like, my goodness. Golly gracious. Government is more evil than it is incompetent. Tim believes that it's just more incompetent. I believe it's more evil. And I respect him, and I respect his point of view, and we have our differences on different political ideas. And I think it's always important to talk about in an open and honest format where it's, done in an adult way.
We're told to believe it all happened smoothly, perfectly, without a single major failure, as if space itself cooperated just for that moment. And then comes the footage. Every time you watch it closely, more questions pop up than answers. How exactly are they
I wouldn't be surprised if this is an AI video. Because I think Joe Rogan flipped on his... I'm very sorry if Joe Rogan flipped on his video.
filming all this? Who's behind the camera capturing these perfect angles on the moon? The lunar
This video sounds fake.
module lifting off looks like a scene from an old sci-fi movie. No obvious engine burn, no fire, no blast, no dust movement, nothing. It just floats upward like it's attached to invisible strings. And somehow, magically, the remote camera on the lunar rover pans perfectly to catch the ascent in 1969 with technology that struggled to keep a TV signal stable on Earth. Where did all that power come from anyway? This wasn't a modern rocket. They say they used something comparable to car batteries. Car batteries to launch a capsule off the
I'm pretty sure this is fake, listening at the cadence of this voice, because that's not how Rogan kind of talks.
moon's surface, fight 1/6 gravity, and reconnect
You don't know what's real anymore. And it's only going to get wilder, scarier, and more crazier, by the way.
flawlessly with the command
No, the video is making good points, but it's absolutely, I believe, it. The more I listen to it, I think it's an AI video.
module orbiting above. One tiny miscalculation and the astronauts would drift into space forever, yet we're told it worked perfectly, first try and no errors. And then there's the famous phone call talking to Richard Nixon live from the moon. A crisp, clear conversation from almost 240,000 miles away at a time when a long-distance call from one USA state to another would crackle and cut out. So when people say they could never fake something that big, I just smile. Because with all the strange camera angles, the missing rocket plumes, the flawless docking, the suspiciously smooth broadcast, and the convenient silence around radiation, the real question is, did they actually go, or did they simply master the art of making the world believe they did?
I think I'm skeptical. I don't think they actually did. This guy does, and he's like, "There's aliens there." And listen, this is what David Icke says. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Catherine Austin Fitz also believes similar things. But she's talking about how the United States also is spending trillions of dollars on underground military bases that has free energy type of technology that was granted to us by ancient aliens and tech. Listen, she told me, she's like, I got offered to have dinner with aliens in Washington, D.C. by someone at the State Department. I said no. I was like, woman, I would have said yeah.
Lying around it. I mean, that's what we know. I just know that from having a lot of children. If there's like evasion and certain parts of the story don't make sense, then there's lying there. Now, what does that add up to? Sometimes it's just very minor, and sometimes it's not. But lying is the tell. It's a sign of, what it is, which is deception, trying to hide the truth from other people. Like clearly, they are lying.
And that's what makes this so difficult, is because we know they lie about all these things. We run around in circles.
Yeah.
And the waters are muddied. And I think that's kind of the whole point of it.
It may be simply because I know you're lying does not mean I know what the truth is.
Correct.
And that is true for so many different things, some of which I have like very close proximity to, where like I know for a fact you're lying. Like you basically told me you're lying, but I can only guess as to why.
Right.
Right?
That's 100% true.
Last question. Do you ever feel driven to like craziness by your job? I mean, talk about it in the middle of it.
Yes.
There's a lot of that. And there's also a lot of legitimate, just crazy people. Now, Tucker has some very interesting understandings here, as of course, talking to him and doing public events with him. We specifically spoke about aliens, interdimensional beings, as of course he says, I can't find out anything more. I can't dig. I can't keep looking for anything more. We know his son works for J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance openly talked about how he is on the search for finding out what the aliens are. I believe a lot of these people got a lot of private briefings that they're sworn to secrecy about. There's still so much more. I think there's a reason Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna keeps bringing up the Book of Enoch. And for me, my personal understanding of it after doing years in research, and I remember going to all the top UFO conferences. I interviewed, Jim Mars. I interviewed all like the major ufologists, talked to them, tried to understand them. William Cooper was talking about aliens from Planet X and all these craft and advanced type of civilizations. Are we living with another civilization amongst us? I think if there ever was a probability of that, it would be with interdimensional type of creatures. Some people call them angels, some people call them demons, some people call them creatures from the book of Enoch. But in reality, I do believe that that is a reality that I think explains a lot of the stuff that science can't usually sometimes explain. Now, Tucker came out, and when we talk, he's like, these interdimensional beings have an agreement with the U.S. government. What type of agreement? He didn't elaborate on. What do they agree to? What's the deal? Some people are saying, well, it's just a, human sacrifice. Is that why we're at a perpetual state of war? There's like doctors trying to cure pancreatic cancer that are like, hey guys, can I have some money? Meanwhile, Epstein is literally just rolling in it from the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and financing designer babies, financing and looking into studies about teeing up 3-year-old children and asking Harvard scientists, what are the adult benefits for a 3-year-old to be, induced with a bunch of hormones? Sick stuff. Sick stuff. As Bill Gates is running around secretly dragging his wife, allegedly, according to Jeffrey Epstein.
Maybe not insanity, but I have become certainly more jaded, disappointed in my government.
Yep.
Because I didn't grow up that way. I grew up
didn't either.
in a very patriotic home.
Yep.
So everybody's a cop or in the military or both. We're draped in old glory. And then, and I was like that really my whole life. Iraq wars, I'm behind you,
Me too.
America, everything, all of it. And in my research, I've learned that I think just about every war we've fought since the Second World War is based on a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find any that are based on truth. And
Some people are saying it's because the interdimensional beings demand a pound of flesh and human sacrifice, and that's how you kind of give it to them. Wouldn't surprise me if those are demons. And that's why, listen, I know the conversation that you're probably listening to is like, you woo-woo, he's crazy. Listen, there's a reason the elites believe in a lot of occult, weird, satanic, devil-worshipping stuff, right? You don't have to believe it. They do. They do the seances. They do the rituals. They do the occult, demonic type of summoning. Literally. Brina Abrovich, Spirit Cook, literally, they're like, oh yeah, let's take blood, pee, sweat, poop. Let's take it. Let's make it. Let's put it in a jug. Yeah, you got the jug. Hey, Maria, you got the jug. Hey, Podesta, you got the jug. Okay, all right. Let's put weird, creepy dolls in the corner here, and let's write messages. Try to summon in demons. And then you look at the art that they kind of have, and it's like, huh? And then you look at what they do at the Bohemian Grove. They're like, hey, you want to come to the Bohemian Grove? Bill Clinton's like, that's where all the Republicans go, and they stand naked and hump trees. When We Are Changed Minnesota asked them that question. All the powerful people go there. Conan O'Brien goes there. The hell Conan O'Brien are you doing? Kissinger goes there. New York Post reporting male workers of the night shipped in. And then they're like, hey guys, we're going to dress in robes. We're going to have a mock child sacrifice. Look, there's Moloch everywhere. Oh, look at that. Yeah. You guys ready for the mock child sacrifice? Okay, guys. Back in the day, probably wasn't mock. It probably was real. As there's like photos of hangings from the Bohemian Grove and other horrible things happening there. As it's a good old boys club, no women allowed. Wonder why. And then, of course, the women. I think Sota Sotomayor. I'm probably butchering her name. She's a part of like the offset of the female Bohemian Grove. And then there's Skull and Bones, where John Kerry and George W. Bush were in coffins, and they were like cracking it out, talking about why do they do all this stuff? Why do they do horrible things that you can't even fathom and imagine? Because they worship demons and they are devil worshippers. Now, they're Satanists. Anything else you want to know? I don't have long. We're talking about this wild stuff.
there's an argument that even World War II America was deceived into getting involved in that. But every other war was based on a lie, and that's certainly proven.
Again, the funny mustache guy in the 1930s from Germany, he believed in a lot of the occult stuff as well. He was a part of secret societies. Isn't that interesting?
The Gulf War was started by a PR company. You remember when Nuria gave her testimony in front of Congress? They were throwing the babies on the ground in the hospital. Oh, it was very heartbreaking when she was the daughter of the ambassador of Kuwait.
That made up the whole entire story. That galvanized the American public to war based on lies. Gulf of Tonkin, based on lie. So many lies after a lie after a lie after a lie to commit mock human sacrifice. Right? To create these wars that are just idiotic. If you look at the time that certain events happened, the dates, the time World War I ended specifically, a lot of numerologists believe in a lot of this stuff. I'm friends with one of them here in Miami. This guy is freaky with the knowledge and information that he has, right? And people are like, devil worship. Well, I want to understand what's going on here. There's clear devil worship happening amongst evil people. I don't think he's one of them.
And lying, she had never been to that hospital. But
I remember that.
We had boots on the ground.
Yeah, killed a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Not many Americans died, thank heaven. But I drove on the highway of death. Boy, I'm not defending the Iraqis. I guess it doesn't matter how many we kill. That's our official.
This is where the U.S. military just absolutely wiped out anyone that was from Iraq that kind of went there.
View, but
There's only
The Iraqi military.
30,000.
it was pretty brutal. I mean, I saw the aftermath of it. It was pretty brutal.
But 500 Americans, that's enough for me to get
There were
uncomfortable.
500 killed in the first Gulf War?
Mhm.
I'm so embarrassed I didn't remember that.
So jaded, disappointed, angry, but not bitter. Not bitter. I end my episodes really never with despair, never really with hope. It's more about try to, when you're told things, just think closely. I try to
Yes.
help people to, not what to think, but how to think. Don't trust everything.
Don't trust anybody. Don't trust me. I've been screaming this for like 21 years. I'm like, hey guys, everything's fake and gay. It's all corrupted. Don't even trust independent media. Do your own homework. Do your own research. I've been screaming that for a while.
That comes out of the media, whether
Right.
you're on the right or the left, that's all kind of a puppet show. It's really about people versus power, and anything that the powerful tell you, don't trust it.
Exactly. Boy, I couldn't have put that better.
Yeah, I like Tucker Carlson. A lot of people are like, stop talking about this woo-woo stuff. I'm like, no. I think when it comes to this stuff, I know a lot of it is in the realm of fantasy. I know a lot of it is in the realm of fiction for a lot of people. But I believe there's bigger truths out here than a lot of people are kind of leading on to. I think the conversations are absolutely worth having. I think we should be questioning whether we went to the moon or not. I think we've spanned enough time to say, hey guys, and I would argue that, hey, for the American government, it's like, hey, look at the lies we were able to pull off here. Look what we were able to do here. Now, very interesting conversation here. Now, why would you tape over the original footage? Why would you lose the tech? Again, I just do not see this as a coincidence. Now, there's lunar orbiters. People are saying, well, 4 out of, quote, 5 nations that would love, more than anything, to disprove the U.S. moon landing, proof the U.S. NSA moon landing with their own lunar orbiter system. Now, this is also interesting because India is like, look, we went to the moon. And that, I mean, India's moon, let's pull that up here. Let me look for that, right? Because that right there, look, pretty interesting here. Moon landing deniers. How do you explain images of the Apollo 11 landing site taken by recent missions by other countries? The Chinese, Japanese, Indians, and Korean space program have all recent imagery, and they are on the moon landing to here. Now, this is the Indian one, right?
Providing confirmation of the safety of the landing site.
As expected, the retargeting is going on, and this is a very good signature for the lander. जी हाँ, आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम लैंडर मॉड्यूल.
People are applauding. Let
Lander
us all
module
wait to hear from the Secretary, Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, Shri S. Somnath.
Listen, that footage looks a little off, right? And again, I guess it's a simulation, right? But a lot of people are like, "This is what you're telling me to believe here." Now, again, I could be wrong on all of this, right? And sometimes people are like, "Actual footage." People are like, "This is actual footage."
आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम लैंडर मॉड्यूल
People are applauding. Let us all wait to hear from the Secretary, Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, Shri S. Somnath.
आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम लैंडर मॉड्यूल
Again, what do I believe happened here? Who in the world knows? I kind of want to leave the question to you. I don't know. Someone posted this. Where's the audio? They had the audio here before. What the hell? I don't know. Maybe the audio just went out on this.
Space
specifically.
news. This morning, India became the first country to have a controlled landing on the south pole of the moon. They landed a lander and a rover. The south pole of the moon is huge for science, and India, Russia, China, and the United States are all trying to get there, especially after India discovered the presence of water ice on the south pole of the moon in 2009. So exploring that and the other minerals that are there is very exciting. At the time I'm filming this, there are no publicly released images of the surface of the moon from this lander. However, in the background of some of the photos from people who were in mission control, there is a photo of the surface of the moon. There it is. Something that's very cool is that India's budget for this mission, Chandrayaan-3, was $75 million, which is less than half of the cost of the movie Interstellar. This also makes India the fourth country to ever have a controlled landing anywhere on the moon after the United States, the former Soviet Union, and China. And by the way, India placed an orbiter around Mars on their first try in 2014, so hopefully now India will finally get the recognition it deserves as a major space player. So congratulations to ISRO and to all of India on this amazing success.
Now, a lot of people are fake. It's all fake. Is it? What do you think? I kind of want to leave the question to you guys. Now, a lot of people. Someone says that's now that's funny, almost as funny as the Indian moon landing spectacle. Now, a lot of people were saying no, this was just a This is just a photo of them simulating it. They didn't actually have video, and I don't think that's the. I think it was like a simulation that they were highlighting. I hope so. Now, again, the Indians are very proud. I remember when I landed in India. They did a currency reset, chaos, riots, protests everywhere. Your money not worth it, credit cards not taken anywhere. I was like, what the hell? And then on their new currency, after they made sure everyone under their couch had to take all of their money and give it to the government so they could figure out the tax on it. And the new money, they had, all of their satellites that they were very proud of. Now, according to Grok, they're saying the moon landing was real, as they're saying overwhelming evidence includes retroflectors left on the moon, still used by global observatories, tracked by the Soviets and others, and images from probes like India's showing landing sites. Claim, like the waving flag due to a support rod, odd shadows, perspectives on even terrain, no stars, camera settings, and no return, shifted priorities are debunked by quote sides. And again, there's another aspect of this where people really nerd out about this. I'm like, no, it's totally real. Absolutely, totally real. Sam Hyde had a different kind of perspective on this here. Because again, if we're going to say an American moon landing was fake, what if the Indian one and the Japanese one? And Chinese and the Russian one. Now, are all these countries in a conspiracy hiding what's really on the moon? Would they have that level of cooperation? Maybe, right?
Indians are going to lie about this. You remember their moon landing?
Yeah, that was the best.
This is the moment that I think for me was the denial science moment.
Yeah.
Because it is clearly, it's not even a good,
irrefutably,
it's not even a good looking fake. It's just clearly fake as hell, and nobody questioned it.
Clearly their balls have gotten big when they can put this slop out and then the people don't get the pitchforks out.
And there was nobody that stepped up and questioned the veracity of this
He
moon
came
landing.
up and said, look at the way I look.
So what else is made up?
Good question. Is the moon landing real? Is the Indian moon landing real? Let me know down in the comment section below. Always appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. I wouldn't be doing that. I think these conversations are worth having. And if you agree, get this video out there. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on YouTube.com/weird.